We're here at Warragamba Dam as a prime example of what we know is going to happen in New South Wales. The Premier stood at this very spot weeks ago and said that they would fund the Warragamba Dam wall upgrade on their own, the New South Wales government. And yet we find out now that there is no money budgeted for that $3 billion project. We know where the money to fund the wall raising is going to come from, and is going to come from the privatisation of Sydney Water. And that is for two reasons. One, a process of deduction. Everything else that is valuable in this state, they have already sold. They've sold our energy. They've sold our motorways. They've sold our ports. The privatisation bonanza that has been going on over the past 12 years is not going to stop. And Sydney Water is the obvious next cab off the rank. We know that not just from a process of deduction because of everything else they privatised. We know that because documents were specifically drawn up when Dom Perrottet was Treasurer to canvass this very idea. The documents were called the Future Funding Strategy. They specifically mentioned a full or partial sale of Sydney Water. They specifically mentioned that this agenda of the privatisation of Sydney Water was being driven because of the policy preference of the Treasurer, the policy preference being asset recycling. The work has already started. That's how we know that this is where it's heading. The Premier himself loves to say past performance is the best indicator of future performance, and the past performance of this 12 governments over 12 years has been to privatise our essential assets, just like Sydney Water, in order to fund their big infrastructure white elephants, which is exactly what the Warragamba wall raising is going to be. So the people of New South Wales have a really clear choice when it comes to privatisation when they vote in a few days' time. If the coalition government is re-elected, we are going to see more privatisation. We are going to see the continued privatisation of things like Sydney Water. Or they can support a Labor government which could not have been clearer. The privatisation ends under us. There will be no more sales of the essential assets and services that the people of New South Wales rely on.